Did you know that we have channel memberships now? If you'd like to help support this channel, get some exclusive Kowabana emotes to use in the comments, as well as an exclusive badge by your name, click that join button now to find out more. Every bit of support really helps. Thanks guys. Negoroji Temple. It was known for being one of the 88 temples on the pilgrimage around Shikoku, but also for its statue of Gyuki, the ox demon. And, according to the many rumors, it was also haunted. Not just by the ox demon, but by a mysterious woman in a kimono, and, oddly, a haunted public telephone in front of the temple as well. Intrigued by the legends, he decided to visit the temple one night with his friends to check it out for himself. They were on a trip, after all, so how could they miss this rare opportunity? According to the rumors, the public phone would suddenly ring in the darkness, and if you answered it, then you'd be cursed. The caller was unknown. It didn't matter really. All that mattered was that if the phone rang, you shouldn't pick the receiver up. After doing a little sightseeing around the area, they made their way towards the temple. There, they spotted the infamous ox demon statue. It kind of reminded him of a cheap knockoff Ultraman toy, and it made him laugh more than it frightened him. The horns of a supposedly real ox demon were said to be kept in the temple, but that wasn't what interested him tonight. No, it was that phone. But no matter how long they waited, it didn't ring. Of course it didn't. It was just an urban legend. But they had come all this way, so it couldn't hurt to just pick the receiver up and check to be totally sure, right? He jokingly picked up the receiver and placed it to his ear. But what he heard shocked him. It wasn't the silence he expected. Instead, he heard a busy tone. The phone was in use. Someone was calling it. Panicking, he slammed the receiver back down and ran outside. One of his friends, confused, picked the receiver up himself but heard nothing but silence. Confused, they all stood there for a while, unsure of what to do, before finally agreeing that they should just go home. Coincidence or not, it was just way too creepy. They returned home safely, but not entirely without incident. The car got all scraped up after hitting a telephone pole. Several friends lost things close to them, and some even fell ill. They survived, but the incident left them wondering if perhaps the legend had maybe a hint of truth to it after all. Considered one of the most important and famous ghost spots in all of Kagawa, Negoroji Temple is part of the Tiantai sect of Buddhism. It's the 82nd stop on the 88 temple pilgrimage around Shikoku, and it's dedicated to Kannon, the goddess of mercy. Legend attributes its construction to Kukai, who plays a prominent part in numerous ghost spots around the island. And it's said that during the early Edo period, an archer by the name of Yamada Kurando Takakiyo slay an ox demon that was terrorizing the area. He then cut the horns off the creature and donated them to the temple, which has taken care of them ever since. Negoroji Temple can be found roughly a 50-minute walk from Kinashi, No Demons, station, nicely secluded in the mountains and surrounded by the beauty of nature. But its isolation and dense surrounding forests make it somewhat eerie even during the day, and after climbing a long flight of stone stairs, you're greeted at the top by a Jizo statue and small shrine, lending to its haunted reputation. And, of course, the haunted public telephone, which sadly no longer exists today. Although the ox demon has long since been slain, to this day, rumors of a ghostly woman in a white kimono patrolling the temple grounds persist. It's not unknown for ox demon legends to be accompanied by a woman, either a close associate of the creature or something that the creature itself transforms into. At any rate, This woman is also famous around the temple, but you must be careful because if she happens to spot you, then she will possess you, and these things never end well. A common story you can find online talks of a group of friends who visited the temple late one night, at 3 a.m. to be precise, the hour of the ox. They stood at the gate, impressed by the imposing atmosphere of the temple, but soon realized they could hear chanting coming from inside. Considering the time, that seemed a little odd, but they went inside to check. Yet, as they climbed the stairs, suddenly they heard a loud bang. The camera one of the members was carrying had fallen from its strap, and upon closer inspection, it appeared the strap had been sliced cleanly through with a knife. That didn't make any sense, but after checking that the camera was still working, they continued on their way. After reaching the famous ox demon statue, they stopped to take a photo in front of it. The cameraman pressed the shutter, but as he did, he felt something brush his arm. There was nobody near him. They were all standing in front of the statue. Something about this place wasn't right, and a chill ran down his spine. He ran. The man apologized to his friends as he ran, but run he did. They followed him, and when they all got back to the car, they went to check the photo he had just taken. But there was nothing there. All the other photos had worked perfectly fine, but that one single photo he took of the statue simply didn't exist. Another somewhat similar story tells a tale of university students who visited the temple with their mobile phones instead of cameras. Once inside the temple, they were overwhelmed by the terrifying, unique atmosphere in the air, and when they spotted the ox demon statue, they tried to take photos of it with their phones. Yet, they found they couldn't. As soon as they tried, all their phones mysteriously stopped working. No matter what they did or pressed, the phones remained dead. It wasn't until the group left the temple that their phones mysteriously started working again. It wasn't that they lost signal, their phones entirely lost power, and then turned back on the moment they stepped outside the temple grounds. Creepy. While it's not a mystery where the rumours surrounding the ox demon came from, to date, nobody has ever found solid evidence explaining why the former public phone was thought to be haunted, nor the specific curse that came from answering it. Public phones can most definitely be creepy places, especially deep on mountains late at night, so it's likely that it simply came to life because of its location. A lone telephone box in a creepy, haunted temple? Well, of course, it must be haunted too. That might not be a problem we have to face anymore, but the ox demon statue and its horns remain. If you're ever in the area, why not check them out sometime? But perhaps during daylight hours and not during the terrifying hour of the ox. But what did you guys think of this one? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.